90%. That is the percentage of drivers inflating their tires incorrectly right now, according to a study by the Rubber Manufacturers Association across 10,000 vehicles at random inspection points nationwide. Not slightly wrong. Dangerously wrong. And the part that should make you genuinely angry: the correct information has been sitting on a sticker inside your door jamb the entire time. Printed there by your manufacturer. Tested by engineers. Ignored by almost everyone. Today I am going through 11 tire inflation mistakes collectively costing American drivers over $600 per year in premature tire replacement, reduced fuel economy, and unnecessary repair bills. The last mistake, number 1, causes the most expensive damage of all. And it happens most often to the drivers who think they are being the most careful. Stay with me. Mistake number 11. Inflating hot tires. Here is what happens at gas stations across America every single day. Driver notices the pressure warning light. Pulls into the nearest station. Reads 2 to 3 psi below specification. Adds air to the correct number. Drives away satisfied. By the next morning, that tire is 4 psi underinflated. The reason is thermodynamics your dealer never mentions. When a tire has been driven for 20 minutes at highway speed, internal air temperature rises significantly. That increase creates a corresponding pressure increase, approximately 1 psi for every 10 degrees Fahrenheit of temperature change. The hot reading drops as the tire cools overnight. Michelin's tire performance research confirms a tire operating just 5 psi below specification runs up to 18 degrees hotter at highway speeds and wears up to 25% faster. At $150 to $200 per tire, that wear acceleration represents $600 to $800 across a complete set. Inflate exclusively when tires are cold, stationary for a minimum of 3 hours or driven less than 1 mile. Mistake number 10. Trusting the gas station air gauge. A 2021 Consumer Reports investigation across 47 stations in 12 states found pressure reading errors ranging from 2 to 6 psi at the majority of locations tested. 6 psi of measurement error makes careful pressure management entirely impossible. A quality digital gauge accurate to 0.5 psi costs between $12 and $20. The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety identifies inaccurate measurement as a leading contributor to chronic underinflation across the American vehicle fleet. $15 eliminates the measurement error that makes every other tire habit pointless. Mistake number 9. Using the sidewall number as your inflation target. Stay right here, because this single mistake feeds the most expensive tire replacement cycles in automotive shops across the country. I'm going to show you exactly what that sidewall number means and why inflating to it has been quietly damaging vehicles for decades. Do not skip this. The number on your tire sidewall, typically 44, 51, or 35 psi, is labeled maximum cold inflation pressure. Maximum. Not recommended. Not optimal. It is the highest pressure the tire can structurally contain without failure risk. It tells you nothing about handling, braking, or safety performance for your specific vehicle. The correct number is on your door jamb sticker, a label your manufacturer is legally required to place there under Federal Motor Vehicle Safety Standard 110. That number was calculated specifically for your car's weight distribution, suspension geometry, and braking system. For most passenger cars, it falls between 30 and 36 psi, often substantially lower than the sidewall maximum millions of drivers inflate to daily. Mistake number 8. Setting all 4 tires to the same pressure. Most vehicles specify different pressures for front and rear tires. In a front-engine vehicle where approximately 60% of total weight sits over the front axle, the pressure differential compensates for that weight distribution in the contact patch geometry. NHTSA Vehicle Dynamics research identifies incorrect front-to-rear pressure balance as a contributing factor in handling instability and increased braking distance in real-world testing. Open your door jamb sticker. Read both numbers. Inflate each axle to its specific specification. 30 additional seconds corrects a handling compromise millions of drivers live with permanently. Mistake number 7. Ignoring the valve stem. Stay right here, because the next section covers 2 inflation mistakes that are completely invisible until the damage is done and the bill is written. One destroyed a set of $800 tires in under 6 months. I am going to show you both and exactly how to prevent them. The valve stem cap is not decorative. It seals the valve core against moisture and road contamination. Tires losing pressure slowly with no visible puncture have valve core corrosion in the overwhelming majority of cases. A failure beginning with a missing cap and ending with replacement costs from $15 for a standard stem to $150 or more when the valve integrates a TPMS sensor. Tighten caps by hand only. Never use tools. Over-tightening damages the threads and creates the contamination pathway the cap was designed to prevent. Mistake number 6. Low-profile tire pressure management. Low-profile tires with aspect ratios of 45 or lower, now standard on a significant percentage of sport trims across every major manufacturer, require operating pressures between 40 and 52 psi. Drivers accustomed to standard 32 to 36 psi recommendations frequently reduce this pressure to a more familiar number. The consequence is immediate and severe. NHTSA pothole damage data identifies low-profile tires below specification as the highest risk category for sudden structural failure from road impacts. The American Society of Civil Engineers estimates 43% of U.S. roads are in poor or mediocre condition. A single pothole impact on a low-profile tire at 5 psi below specification produces sidewall damage requiring replacement at $200 to $350 per tire. Mistake number 5. Overinflating to improve fuel economy. U.S. Department of Energy testing confirms overinflation produces fuel economy improvement of approximately 1%. The cost is immediate and severe. Tire Racks Independent Wear testing documents overinflation producing center tread wear rates 2 to 3 times faster than correctly inflated tires. Tires rated for 50,000 miles wear through center tread in 15,000 to 20,000 miles under consistent overinflation. At $150 to $200 per tire, the math produces the opposite of the intended saving by a factor of 10 or more. Mistake number 4. Chronic underinflation. This is the most destructive and most common tire inflation error simultaneously. A tire 5 to 10 psi below specification undergoes continuous sidewall flexing that generates internal heat accumulating in the steel belts and structural compounds invisibly. Bridgestone's engineering research documents chronic underinflation as the primary cause of sudden structural failures in NHTSA's accident database. The complete instantaneous loss of tire integrity at highway speed that leads to rollovers. TPMS systems in many vehicles only trigger at 25% below specification, meaning a 36 psi tire triggers no warning until pressure drops to 27 psi. Heat damage builds silently for thousands of miles before producing failure with no warning. Check pressure monthly, without exception. Mistake number 3. Incorrect pressure under load or towing. The door jamb sticker on most vehicles manufactured after 2000 lists 2 specifications: standard load and maximum load or towing, typically 4 to 8 psi higher. When a truck or SUV is loaded or towing with tires at standard pressure, the rear axle operates under combined overload and underinflation simultaneously. NHTSA tire failure data identifies loaded vehicles at standard load pressure as the highest frequency scenario in highway incidents involving full tread separation. Every road trip, every towing situation, check the maximum load specification before departure. This takes 3 minutes. The consequence of skipping it has ended lives. Mistake number 2. Pressure checks without seasonal adjustment. Standard monthly checks without seasonal temperature awareness create chronic underinflation through every winter. A 34-degree temperature drop between a warm autumn afternoon check and consistent overnight winter temperatures reduces tire pressure by approximately 3 psi. Tires inflated correctly in October are chronically underinflated by November and remain that way until spring. Schedule a dedicated seasonal check at the first sustained temperature drop of 15 degrees or more below the temperature at which tires were last inflated. And finally, mistake number 1. This is the inflation error causing the most expensive damage. And it happens most frequently to careful drivers who check pressure regularly and follow the door jamb specification correctly. The error is checking pressure during seasonal temperature transitions without understanding what the reading means. Here is the scenario. A careful driver checks pressure on a warm autumn afternoon at 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Inflates correctly to door jamb specification. Feels confident. 2 weeks later, overnight temperatures have dropped consistently to 38 degrees. That 34-degree drop has reduced pressure by approximately 3 psi. The tires are now chronically underinflated every morning for the next 6 months. and the careful pressure check that created the problem happened in perfect good faith. Continental Tire's seasonal pressure guidance, published in European documentation and absent from American market communications, recommends a pressure check at the first sustained temperature drop of more than 15 degrees below the temperature at the last inflation. BMW's European service documentation adds 2 psi to winter targets specifically for this differential. Mercedes-Benz recommends verification whenever ambient temperature varies more than 20 degrees from the previous check condition. This guidance exists. It is documented. It is absent from American owner communications because introducing seasonal adjustment language creates regulatory complexity that manufacturer legal departments have consistently decided against. Careful informed drivers following American market guidance are operating chronically underinflated tires through every winter, and the damage accumulates silently at 65 miles per hour on every highway drive they take. You now have 11 specific mistakes, the engineering data behind each one, the financial consequence of every error, and the complete corrective procedure for every situation. The collective annual cost ranges from $200 in excess fuel consumption to over $800 in premature tire replacement. The correct pressure is on your door jamb sticker. The correct time to check is cold tires. The correct gauge costs $15. The correct seasonal adjustment is documented by Continental, BMW, and Mercedes, even if your American owner's manual never mentions it. If this just changed how you think about something you have done hundreds of times without a second thought, hit like right now, share this with every driver you care about, and subscribe so you never miss what comes next. Drop a comment and tell me what country you are watching from. I read every single one.